Well, good afternoon, everyone. We have an exciting discussion this afternoon to talk about how life insurance carriers are using Coherent Spark to connect seamlessly to front-end systems, to distribution systems, to record keepers, etc. In essence, what Coherent Spark does is it takes the world's most common programming language, Microsoft Excel, and it does two things better and faster than any other company in the world. Firstly, it converts any Excel model to code in a matter of seconds. And then it creates an API that instantaneously converts all of the logic and formulas inside of the Excel model so you can connect seamlessly and digitally to front and back end systems. So I'm going to let the panel really dive deep into this today, but we'll kick it off with our founder and global CEO of Coherent, John Brisco. And John, why don't you share, let's say three things. Why you created Coherent Spark, what you saw as an insurance executive in a previous life, and then what Coherent Spark solves for.
Yeah, thanks, Todd, for those questions. The reality was I was an insurance executive working for major life insurers across the globe, and I kept on seeing the same problem over and over around product speed to market, dealing with regulatory challenges, as well as how do you actually make changes in your systems in order to help your distribution and customers attain the experiences that you want to attain. And for those who've been in the industry, whether you've been on obviously the carrier side or whether you've been on the software vendor side, quite frankly, there's a lot of spreadsheets which exist in the industry. And what I thought could be a real opportunity was imagine if you could think about a way to automate the way of how the business operates spreadsheets and put it into a platform where the technology team can work with the business to instantly unlock the value which is within those spreadsheets. And by doing that, really reducing business requirement times, testing times, as well as getting your business teams and IT teams to work in collaboration. Because I think with this new way of working that we're working on, as well as obviously the opportunity with digitization, having your teams collaborate in a much more effective manner is, I think, paramount to success. And given that spreadsheets aren't going to go away, why not figure out a platform which can actually help carriers really transform in a much more rapid fashion?
That's great, John. Where does Spark fit into the architecture of both business and the technology side of insurance companies?
I'm a big believer that I think modern organizations have a lot of agility with business teams and IT teams working together. So from a business architecture point of view, you want your SMEs and your knowledge experts, whether that's actuaries, whether it's underwriters, whether it's your operations teams, whether it's finance, etc., being able to understand and translate the logic which they manage within their business in a way where the IT team is going to understand. Because I think modern organizations want to move away from traditional ways of writing long requirement specs. So why don't you try and find platforms and capabilities which can unlock that business SME knowledge in a much more faster and automated manner? And then from a technology standpoint, I think many people have gone through the challenge of trying to have big bang accelerations or big platforms in order to transform the way you operate. Unfortunately, you never tend to get the ROI that you expect or never tend to get the kind of customer, distributor or operational benefits. So what Coherent Spark is really from a technology point of view, it's a complement to your existing technology architecture. It can play with your existing systems or it can help replace an underperforming asset within your technology stack. And I think that variability and flexibility enables our clients and obviously our partners to really achieve benefits in an incredible fashion. And I think that's what modern business and technology architecture is.
Thanks, John. And that's a great segue to a couple of our clients that are joining us today, Mike and Eric. And Mike, let's start with you. As a technologist at Pacific Life, tell the crowd what you were facing, the challenge you were facing, and how you were able to use Coherent Spark to help solve those problems.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Todd. I think for me, we were really trying to look for a way to sort of accelerate our development schedules and whatnot. The Secure Act was passed, and we knew that lifetime income was important, and we wanted to be quite aggressive in the space. But it's a somewhat immature market as it relates to the product permutations that are out there. So we really needed a way to accelerate our speed to market. And doing that in traditional ways, whether we were building our own APIs or writing models and modeling software and going through our normal development cycles, just wasn't going to get us there as fast as we needed to. And there was also this aspect of us wanting to be able to do a lot of experimentation and not spend a lot of time, money, and effort to see if a product permutation that we came up with had legs or not. So, being able to use Coherent Spark, we have an actuary write a model pretty quickly in Excel. Like you said, we upload it to the platform. It creates those API endpoints for us, very quickly, and then we can use that in a variety of ways, whether that be with middleware providers in the space or record keepers directly. So it's been quite an advantage for us to be able to move as quickly as we have been able to in a market that's really sort of starting to take form.
Great. And you've recently expanded the use of Coherent Spark at Pacific Life. So as all insurance companies, and specifically Pacific Life for you, as you evolve, how do you envision using Coherent Spark in the future?
Well, I think for us, we're going to use it in a variety of ways for different product permutations, but I think there are also, some different uses that maybe we haven't actually, even contemplated yet. I think it's that flexible. But for us right now, it's really different product permutations, different pricing models for illustration of benefits and things like that. And like I said earlier, we're using it within our existing ecosystem with middleware providers and the like. So I think there's just a lot of exciting opportunities out there that we can sort of go after pretty quickly, being able to use the platform.
Great. And speed to market, like you said, with Secure Act and the products that are being developed at Pacific Life, to be able to get them in the hands of record keepers or distribution partners is critical, as we all know, all of us that grew up in the life insurance business. So Eric, actuary, Transamerica. So we have a technologist from Pacific Life and an actuary, client from Transamerica. Glad you joined us. And Transamerica had kind of a different, unique problem that they were trying to solve. And why don't you share how they did that with Coherent Spark as well?
Thanks, Todd, for having me here. And Transamerica is not immune to the problems that large insurers face with the process and product developments. And as an actuary, I wanted to talk about my experience in the trenches of Microsoft Excel. And so, all actuaries love Microsoft Excel. And so our product, our pricing model is within the retirement product in Transamerica is based in Excel. And when we heard about Coherent and the Spark tool, we were really excited about all the capabilities that Spark could provide. And so we really wanted to revamp our pricing model. And so essentially, we started our relationship with Coherent early in 2021. And a little backstory, I guess. So the current pricing model for the retirement business at Transamerica is based in Microsoft Excel that the actuaries own. And the front-end users, we'll say, are the Transamerica employees who are pricing the retirement products every day. They do multiple products every day. And they use a browser-based interface to plug in the product features, which then, as it was before, would get sent to our development team housed SQL code that translated our Excel document to be functional with the user interface, and then it would get back to the users after that. But the problem for us was that the development team owned the code. They knew SQL well. The actuaries, we know SQL a little bit, but not that much. And so we, anytime we had a change to our model, we would have to go through the development team, and they're not a dedicated resource for us, so maybe it might be a couple weeks to get a pricing change into production. And not only that, but you have to make sure that the development team can translate the code in Microsoft Excel properly, so you have a lot of meetings, and it takes quite a long time. And sometimes it even went on for a couple months to get simple assumption changes into our model. And those are months that go by that we are not having the most up-to-date prices available to potential clients. And so really enter Spark, and all the SQL development goes away. It was amazing for us, at least. All we have to do is take our pricing model in Excel, upload it to Spark through your web interface, and I've used it. It translates the code in 2 seconds, and I don't need to know any of the code, and I don't know how the code works, but it's really fast, and our front-end users use Salesforce as their platform to enter in the inputs and get the documents and all the solved prices back out. And Spark allows that connection really easily. So for us as an actuary, we own the models. And so this Spark finally allows us to own the process too, I feel. And so we're really happy to have that autonomy.
Great.
Over the process.
And so there's nothing lost in translation because the actuaries are building the model. You know what the pricing parameters you want to put on the 401k plans, and you're able to upload those models instantaneously and connect with your distribution. For you, it's with Salesforce. So because you have an API, you automatically integrate with Salesforce instantaneously once you update the model. So that's
exactly.
Pretty neat. So what benefits have you seen thus far?
Yeah. So for an actuary, the ability to use the Spark interface is great. So there's the testing center where we can run through thousands of sample plans in an instant. Well, not an instant, but it's very quick compared to our previous processes. And really, it has a lot of controls. So as a big insurance company, we have a lot of model controls and governance that we need to adhere to. And Spark really helps us with that. Every single iteration of every model we've ever uploaded has been saved with whatever notes we wanted to go along with them. Every single submitted request by our front-end users is saved with a unique ID. So if there's ever a pricing question for a particular plan, we can look it up in Spark right away, and I can download an Excel file straight from Spark that has all of the inputs that is based in our pricing model that the user had inputted. So there's a lot of checking capabilities, and but really the speed is great. So I guess previously our front-end users would submit a request, and if the client wanted maybe 3 scenarios, 3 pricing scenarios, they would have to submit 3 separate requests, and then each one got back to them in 10 seconds, through the whole process. And then Spark allows us to do 3 solves at once iteratively, where only 1 request was required from the initial user, and it made that very simple for them. And then from what I hear is the newest update to Spark NodeGen is going to take our, say, 3 scenarios at once, which takes about 10 seconds or 12 seconds to get back to the end user, and it's going to be like under a second or something. So we could price 3 separate retirement scenarios in basically under a second. So
Yeah. And speed to pricing often wins the day, because there's a broker or someone selling a retirement plan that would like to deliver a price as soon as possible, as quick as possible. Mm-hmm. That's great. Any other places you look to use Coherent Spark inside of Transamerica?
Yeah, so we've actually been able to use the testing center to not only test that our code is accurate and any changes that we make are like accurate and appropriate, but we're also able to use that for sensitivity testing for any, say we're thinking about different pricing assumptions that we want to tweak. We can run thousands of scenarios through there without having to create separate entries. We upload one file for a sensitivity test, gives us thousands of results, and we can use that to actually adjust the prices for our retirement plans.
Great, thank you, Eric. So everyone in the insurance industry uses Microsoft Excel. It's something that we've all grown up with. It is our favorite programming language. So if you have questions about this, feel free to talk to the folks at Pacific Life or Transamerica, or find us throughout the conference, and we'd be glad to talk to you more about the benefits of Coherent Spark in terms of managing Excel models and converting to API and all the benefits associated with that. So thank you for your time.